Something else was hello.
Hi, hi, Suzanne.
Hi, I'm with the lovely Anne Gould today, which is exciting. I met Anne, God, it's 3 years now. Do you can believe it? It's 3 years. It's three
Yeah,
years since Anne rocked up, having come all the way from Suffolk to our business academy. I think it was then you were thinking about doing stuff with video, kind of thinking about it.
yes, yes. Well, I think I'd already done some stuff with video, but I was wanting to work out where my niche was. I think that's what it was.
Yeah. And I think I said to you, have you made any videos with yourself? And you said no. And I said, I think you have to drink your own Kool-Aid, Anne. And
Yeah.
you were like, no, I don't want to do that. And now you're a video, like, you're on video all the time.
Yes,
So
yes. Well, I mean, I think it's sort of. Do you know what I think is that when lockdown came and we all went on to Zoom or Google Meetings or whatever you're using, it suddenly became a lot easier. And it's one of the things when I teach people, I suggest that they use this sort of form of communication because it really helps you get over that fear of seeing yourself on screen and hearing yourself as well.
yeah. And I mean, what was it? uh, Rewinding back, and you can introduce yourself and all the sort of stuff about what you're doing, but what was it about video back then? Because I suppose back then I was just beginning to hear people talking about YouTube, and Instagram TV wasn't really even a thing then, and people were talking about video and how important it was with regard to searching and stuff, but I myself was very resistant to it. I was like, i don't I don't really want to get involved with this. It's just too much. And you're right, I, I've had to,
Yes,
but
yeah. I mean, I think so. Where I came from was obviously my background is journalism. You know, sort of regional newspapers and magazines where I sort of edited them, and I've sort of interviewed people all my life. And one of the things I was really aware of was that when you interview someone, very often they'll say something in a particular tone that no matter how good a writer you are, you can't express that tone or their look on their face. And so I retrained as a video journalist, and I was very, very happy um, re- recording other people doing stuff. But actually, I think it was a big leap from doing those recordings and doing some sort of like work for charities and work for corporates to sort of actually getting in front of the screen yourself. And I think if you're in a small business, you actually really need to be the face of your brand, and it's very much that you need to be in control of that and feel comfortable talking on camera. And I think a lot of older people who have worked in sort of corporate or they've been in professions, they're very comfortable with getting up on a stage and talking, but actually seeing themselves on a screen and hearing themselves, it's something that you really have to get used to.
yeah, and it's not easy. I think a friend of mine as well just had a video interview a few months back, and she was horrified by having to do this interview because she was used to being able to send an email, having that form of communication. And she found it very well. Also, she wondered during that process, is there some ageism that's going to go on here? And part of that was her own fear of how she saw herself and how she thought others saw her. And I think that, how do you get over that fear? How do you get over that? I don't look.
Well, I mean, I think that there are obviously, I think that actually using Zoom and FaceTime and all those things are actually really, really useful for getting over that. But and I think the other thing is sort of working out, sort of the structural things like getting the background right, getting your lighting right. Obviously, if you're older, wearing makeup is like, it's just like you just have to do it. And sort of working out what colors work best for you on camera, doing all those things. But it's also understanding that as human beings, we weren't meant to do this sort of stuff. We weren't meant to see it ourselves. And the only time we ever see ourselves is in the mirror. And in fact, what we're used to seeing is a reflection of what we are. So when we actually see ourselves on video, what we see, our brain is saying there's something really wrong here, because obviously you're actually seeing yourself as you are, and your brain is saying, no, this is wrong, it's wrong, it's wrong. And you're saying, oh, I look terrible on camera, because your brain is sort of saying this is wrong.
Interesting. And just why, you were a journalist, you were in print. Part of it is about people representing themselves, and very much what Startup School is also about that authenticity, right? It's a word that I'm not that crazy about because it gets flung around so much, about being authentic. But I do think that, like you say, in the early days of starting a business, the more people get to know you and trust you, the more likely they are to spend money with you. And at the end of the day, it's all about, are they going to give you money, right? And if they don't know you and they don't trust you, then it's difficult. But if you're not comfortable on video, I suppose what are the techniques? And, again, why is video now, why do you think it's so important?
Well, I mean, obviously people buy people. And when you start up in business, if you're a digital business, your market isn't going to be necessarily just your town. You've got the potential to sell across the world, to anybody whose language that you're speaking, So, I mean, if you're speaking English, you're obviously speaking to the whole of North America and to Australia, and there are people all over the world who speak English, So your market is potentially very large, and, you've just got to put yourself out there, because as I said, people buy people, and they connect with you better if they see you on video. And but I think that's just it. It's making that connection. And I always sort of use this analogy. If I was going to go to do some online yoga training, for instance, and there are some amazing women out there, some amazing female entrepreneurs who've got amazing yoga classes online, but they're all sort of 20 or 30 years younger than me, and they can do stuff that maybe is a lot more difficult to me. And I want to buy something from somebody who's showing me things that I can do and can help me at my age and my time of life, rather than sort of being able to sort of like contort my body into sort of a figure of 8, if you know what I mean. So I think it's putting yourself out there to your market. And there may be people who do exactly the same thing as you do, and they might do it better and they might do it worse, but it's very much down to your personality, who you buy from.
Yeah, for sure. And do you think one thing that I've noticed, even my father does this, he's like, my father is a treasurer of a charity, and he is just now discovering the world of social media at 83, bless him. And he wrote to me the other day, and he's like, how do I get more awareness on all these channels? And I said to him, Dad, firstly, you don't have to be on all these channels. And clearly video now there's video on Facebook, there's live video, there's recorded video, there's YouTube, there's Vimeo, there's,